Okay, so I'm submitting my job from the command line. You can see it's running the prepare dir step as before in the UI. And now there's actually a difference here. You can see two spinning wheels after each other. And this step is actually now running on the batch. So we're creating inside the cluster the custom resource, and therefore the operator will submit jobs to the batch system. And you can see that here on the left hand side it's already happening. And also on the right hand side there are currently active 0, job IDs none, and as soon as the jobs are queued, you actually see active 4, and you see the individual job IDs, which you can compare to on the left hand side. Now, inside Argo, I defined a failure condition and a success condition, so all the jobs need to be complete successfully so for things to move on. And I can actually investigate this in more detail if I look at my HT Condor operator within Argo. So here I'm looking at the Argo CD UI, where I also see the logs of the other pods. And you can, for instance, here see the job definition. I submitted a job to Big Bird 10. So this is the manifest for the job submission, and you can see there are several of them because I actually submitted a total of 4 batches. I also have lots of, I have 4 custom resources now defined, and now let's monitor what's happening. So the first job actually here already completed. I can again check the HTC operator. Now Cloud Events actually send us the job ID and the return code from generate batch MC2. And that also then automatically triggers a transfer of the data from the batch cluster into the pod file system, and then directly into the shared storage that I can use in subsequent steps inside the cluster again. Now, we just saw briefly the Grafana monitoring, but more interesting here is now actually that also the first jobs are succeeding for the CR that I was monitoring. And again, we see that in the logs. And Grafana in green here, the jobs that are running, in yellow is a bit behind, the ones that have been scheduled. You can actually see that all the jobs are running already. Now we're already at 2 succeeded jobs and 2 active jobs. And on the left hand side, you can see the total 15 jobs, 7 have completed, 8 are running. I can actually see now that 159.3 is the one that just completed. And now immediately after, now we're already at succeeded 3. That's another job that completed for this custom resource that we were watching here. And in a second or so, we'll be at succeeded 4, and that will automatically trigger the workflow to continue. And you can see that at the bottom here. So we're already now moving on, and all the subsequent steps here are now happening inside the cluster. And you see now that 15 out of 15 jobs have been completed. And again, in the logs, we see that all the data have been transferred, and also there's now a success statement for the custom resource. So Argo continues its job, but the custom resource stays in place. And all the other steps were, as before, pretty fast, so there wasn't much to be done. The images had been pulled already from the previous demo. So now we're already at the last step where we make the plot, and that then concludes the workflow. Now at the very end, there's, I said the custom resources remain. So if I delete the workflow, also the resources that were created will be deleted. So you will now see on the top left that this will actually remove the jobs from the queue. I left them there in case I wanted to transfer some data, but I've done that automatically. So now I'm at 0 almost for the jobs that are scheduled or even completed. And on the right hand side, you saw that now we get an error. No more HTC jobs are available, and also the jobs are removed.